Welcome back. We are back live. What is it? January 25th. My brother's birthday is tomorrow. So I have to call him and tell him happy birthday. Uh, but we are back nonetheless. January 25th. The month of January is flying by. We are almost done with the first month of 2026. And it was a good month for me. Really, it was a good week for me. I'll be kind of talking about that here in a second. But we have a lot to get off into today as relates to the stories, the IP events of the actual week. And hey, yeah, it'll be an interesting one. So we got what the Shark Tank, that show, that pitch of the week. We'll be talking about which one I thought was a little bit more interesting. We have the interview of the week, esports trainer. Shouts out to the inventor of that. Where we're gonna play a little bit of that interview that came out earlier this week. We have the lawsuit of the week. What is it? Cowboy Country Club, and this is going to be an interesting lawsuit to kind of break down, just because there's some nuances in this that I thought could have this whole lawsuit could have been avoided if they would have did something. Cowboy Country Club, that is. So we'll talk about that. Amplify. I was out at Amplify event earlier this week. I'm gonna play a couple different videos for you guys. And again, I've been dropping content from Amplify, the interviews that I did, whether it was the run and gun interviews, the sit down interviews, the off script interviews. I've been kind of putting out a lot of content on the different platforms, not just YouTube. I'm not sure why is my phone keep doing this. I don't know why my phone keep going great like that, but I've been putting out a lot of content on social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. So I'll be coming out with more of that, but I do want to kind of let you guys know a couple of the clips that I thought was interesting that I want to play for you guys. What else do we have going on today? Scrub Daddy, the inventor of Scrub Daddy. It's a little clip that he had on his product that I thought was worth sharing with you guys and seeing what insights we can glean from that. And looks like what? We have one more. Like South Carolina, they're coming out with a trademark system. I'll give you guys my thoughts on why you maybe want to be a little bit cautious when really not only South Carolina, but any state governmental body filing a trademark in that governmental body. I'm going to give you guys my insights on that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You'll notice that I'm doing this pre-recorded, but I'm putting it out as a live today. And your boy, we at the 11th hour with some deals that I'm trying to kind of finalize. And so I didn't want to not come to you guys with anything, especially since I didn't do it last Sunday because I was out in Newport Beach, California. But I still wanted to provide you guys with some, a live show of the IP current events and kind of give you guys an update on me being out in Amplify. So I still decided to do this. This is a pre-recorded as opposed to a live showing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Let's see, which one do we want to start with here? Let's start with Amplify. So I was at Amplify, a conference out in Newport Beach, California. I think they had like over 200 Shark Tank guests there at Amplify, and it was a good time, and it was cool because, man, the Shark Tank reaction videos that I do, they are starting to kind of not starting to, they always kind of hit home, but people noticed them. It's a number of Shark Tank founders that came up to me like, hey man, you're that guy who do the reaction videos. And it was some people who weren't Shark Tank founders that came up to me like, hey, you're that guy from YouTube who do the reaction videos and talk about intellectual property. So I thought that was cool, man. Made me feel a little famous, if you will. So I do want to kind of play a little bit of a couple of those clips that I thought was interesting. But also, I do want to say, as I'm kind of queuing this up, man, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit that subscribe button to be a part of the IP community. Let me see, man. As well as hit that subscribe button to be a part of the IP community. I did get a chance, which is always cool for me, to connect with some of the guys who I previously interviewed and connect with them in person. These interviews I do a lot of times, they are on video. They don't know the platform that I use to stream. And I haven't met a lot of those in person, a lot of those people in person, but conferences like these allows me to meet people in person. I met Chef James Berry. He actually gave me some product that's in my kitchen with Pluck, the superfood seasoning. So shouts out to Chef James Berry on that. I interviewed and was able to kind of connect with them in person. Destin Bell, which was able to interview him about a year ago. He actually sold his company, and I was able to see him in person at the Shark Tank conference. And he actually connected me to a group of people who who were just on Shark Tank yesterday. The episode that came out not yesterday, but on Wednesday. So again, shouts out to Destin for that. Who else did I meet who I hadn't met from? Matter of fact, pull her up now. Now she was on Impeccable with the chicken that's in a pouch. They're crushing it. She was saying that they were initially doing like 40,000, somewhere around 40,000 a month in revenue with their product. chicken, but now they're doing around like $400,000 in revenue based on them being on Shark Tank. So I was able to meet her. Let's kind of see how that interview went, and then I have one more to play for you guys. But let's check out this one first. Let's go. Intellectual property to your business. I would imagine that you have a trademark on Impeccable. So how important, can you talk a little bit about the importance of intellectual property to your business?
Yeah, I think it is the most important part for a business, especially for IP in any industry, any sectors. I think not just.
So shouts out to her. That was just a small snippet. That was just a small snippet. Shout out to Riley for that. Let me play another one. Actually, P Sport Henry. I didn't interview him yet, but I was able to interview him then. Let's see here. It's another one with and he was one of the guys who was like, "Hey man, you that Shark Tank guy." So let me kind of cue that up. That was pretty cool. Let's see here. Here we go. I thought this was pretty cool, man. This had your boy feeling big time. I'm not gonna lie. Let's go here. I'm an IP attorney and kind of do your podcast talking about.
Oh, I saw your YouTube video. You're that guy. Oh shit.
So yeah, that was cool, man. Shout out to Henry. For those of you who don't know Henry, he was on Shark Tank maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago for his product P Sport, which is a bottle that kind of expands, allows people to go to the bathroom and while you're on road trips and things like that, whether you're an adult, elderly or a kid or whatever the case may be. So man, shouts out to P Sport and Henry at P Sport. Man, it was just a great conference, being able to connect with so many people that I talked about or interviewed. And yeah, man, that's that. I don't know why my freaking camera keeps going out. That's kind of pissing me off because it never did that before. Maybe Big Brother is watching me. Let's get to the interview of the week. I'm trying to keep this one short, this whole live, but let's get to the interview of the week. Esports trainer. What I'm going to call him. Let's see here. Let me kind of pull up the interview. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm kind of sifting through these days. A lot of stuff that I am sifting through. A lot of things that I'm pulling up. Come on, man. There we go. Sean. So shouts out to Sean. He has an esports trainer for athletes. Allow them to get their repetition in their respective sport, practice good form. So let's kind of see what he has to talk about, and then we will kind of come back to me. I kind of share my thoughts with the interview. Let's go. Welcome to another episode of Everything Intellectual Property, the first episode of the new year 2026, and we have a special guest kicking off the new year. This gentleman has created a device utilizing AI technology to assist athletes in tracking their training against their natural. So can you, for the people who maybe are not familiar with your story, kind of describe or explain what it is that you've created with Esports Trainer?
Yeah, so again, it's a training device, a sports training device that helps kids. My son, he was my why, so I totally understand what you're saying. I worked a lot, and I didn't have a lot of money, so I had to decide sometimes, am I going to pay bills or send him to a camp? But I didn't want him not to gain a competitive advantage, so I developed this product. And what it does is it's morphed from a lot of different versions of the product through customer discoveries and things like that. But what it does in a nutshell is, like you mentioned, it establishes a baseline for the athlete. And then when they deviate from that baseline, it talks to them and helps them to record it. For my son, he was a higher level AAU. He gravitated towards basketball. And he was at a lot of training camps with some NBA players, some even players that are in the NBA right now. Nice. And let's just be honest, my son going to these camps, who are the trainers going to pay attention to, right? Because their dads are athletes and played in NBA as well.
So I'm going to stop it right there. That I think pretty much was a good explanation of what it is. But he essentially has, and you can see to the picture to the left, it's a training device, your watch, whatever the case may be, that he can that kind of keeps track of, if you're shooting a basketball, is keeping track of your baseline form. If you deviate from that form, it will let you know. If you are swinging a golf club, he's kind of introducing other sports to his company with the esports training device, that if you deviate from whatever it is, that kind of motion, your respective motion, like I said, whether it's swinging a golf club, whether it's shooting a basketball, throwing a football, holding a football, if it deviates from your baseline of your baseline, I want to say score, but the baseline that you've created for yourself, then it will notify you that you can not only practice, because what they say is not practice makes perfection. What did they say? Practice makes perfection. No, practice makes permanent. So to the extent that you can practice ways that are going to be permanent and translate into the game, then ultimately you're going to have better success. And I can tell you that firsthand, being an athlete who made it to the college ranks, if you're practicing bad behavior, it's just going to show up on game time. But if you're practicing the good form or good throwing motion, that's going to also translate to game time, which ultimately is going to have you have more success. You can think less about it. That's a big thing, which I was talking to Sean about, being able to not think about it. Because you get to the collegiate and the professional sports realms, you don't have time to think, okay, my elbow tucked in, my following through. You need to just do it. And the more you can practice it with good form, then the better you're going to be, like I said, as you start to rise up the ranks. So go check out the interview with Sean. Appreciate him for kind of stopping through and sharing this story with us. I do want to kind of move to this is the Shark Tank interview of the week. And this was interesting because Destin, who, like I said, I interviewed already. I was able to catch up with him at Amplify. He was boys with the Shark Tank people. And so he actually reached out to me yesterday when I was at the cigar lounge saying, hey, man, my boys want to connect with you. So I shot them my email. So I'll most likely be interviewing these guys and doing more with the founders of Screen Skins going forward. But I did want to kind of let you guys know what they do. I think the best way to do that is taking a look at their Instagram. I don't want to play the Shark Tank clip again because I don't want to get the what's the name flag, but let's kind of take a look at their Instagram and see what it is they got going on. They did get a deal with not one but two sharks, which you see here, Mr. Wonderful as well as Alexa, otherwise known as Serena Williams' husband. Let's see here.
Your screen protector, whatever it happens to be, whether it's just text, a logo, like emoji or something, or you can even choose a bunch of sports teams because they have licenses for those. They will then use a laser to etch onto that screen protector, and it'll show whatever you decided to choose when your phone is off. And then when you turn your phone back on, it goes away. So here we have like the Raiders logo, phone is off, but I wake it up, it's gone. You can go onto the website and you design your.
So that's pretty much it. Just so you, in case you guys did not get it.
Can't recall your favorite screen protector? Who can? But with our screen protectors, you'll be sure to show off your screen everywhere you go.
Introducing Screen Skins, the personalized screen protector. It allows your design to show when your phone is off. And when you turn it on, the design disappears, just like Mr. Wonderful's hair.
So that's pretty much what it is. I mean, I think that's a really cool feature, or essentially like your screen protector. So I know screen protectors, millions of screen protectors get bought and sold every year. I don't necessarily have a screen protector on my phone. However, what they did is created a screen protector that has whatever your favorite logo on it. I'll probably have Michigan State or my personal logo if I was to buy one. And when your phone is off, that logo is showing. I'm not sure why my phone keeps doing that. As your logo is off, or your phone is off, the logo is showing, but when you turn your phone back on, then the logo disappears. So that's essentially what it is. They got a license with a lot of collegiate athletic teams as well as professional sports. I think they got Hello Kitty as a license as well. They're developing their own kind of unique creative logos as well. So, man, shouts out to the inventors, the founders of Screen Skins. I actually love the name that they do have trademarked. The screen protector is also patented as well, and they're doing it the right way. They have the patent number on at the end of their website. So, man, shouts out to Screen Skins. I'm sure I'll be doing more with these guys. Go check them out. They did a deal with not one but two sharks. And, yeah, I think the product is dope. It was another one, Street FC. Man, he was solid, too. It's essentially like a street soccer club that he's that he has. And, man, he got a deal as well, I think, with Mr. Wonderful. No, he got a deal with Alexa as well. And, like I said, I think that's going to be sweet once that is all said and done. I don't know what is going on with my computer. This is pissing me off. I don't know why is it doing that. It's just like going off on me. That's frustrating. But nonetheless, man, let's kind of move on to the next thing that I do want to talk about, which is We did talk about esports training, amplify screen scans. Let's go to Scrub Daddy. So Scrub Daddy was another Shark Tank product way back when. He was kind of on a podcast or talking to someone about the original, which I thought this was interesting. The original, what he planned to be the original function of his Scrub Daddy. Now, we all know Scrub Daddy has evolved into essentially a sponge that helps you clean your dishes, silverware, whatever the case may be. And I didn't realize that Scrub Daddy, he eventually meant for Scrub Daddy to be something else, but he ultimately pivoted when that didn't work. And did he hit a home run when he did pivot to, like I said, being able to wash dishes as well as utensils, because this thing is doing hundreds of millions of dollars a year. So let me kind of cue this up here really quickly so that we can hear what he has to say. Oh, Posty, that's not even it. Let's yeah, I think he was supposed to actually be there at the Amplify conference. I'm not sure what happened, why he didn't show up, but I think he was supposed to be there. Nonetheless, let's see what he has to talk about. Insights we can glean.
Because it's my hand. This is actually my hand. So I cut this to fit my hand for cleaning my hands. And it did great, except that I didn't want to go around my fingers. So I cut a hole so I could just clean my fingers like this. And then I wanted to get underneath my fingernails. So I cut some ridges so I could go like this. But this was kind of weird to do it with. But if you cut two holes, it's really easy to do it with. And the next thing you know, this has two eyes, no mouth, some hair, and we're sitting around. I'm like, I can't be the only one that has dirty hands. And we patent it without the mouth, and we start trying to sell it. And nobody wants an expensive piece of German engineered polymer for $4 to clean their dirty hands in that market. They all would rather just go home with dirty hands. Nobody wanted it. And it was sitting in a box. I thought it was a piece of junk. We took 100 samples that we had made that no one wanted. We put them in a box. I labeled it scrap. Scrub Daddies were sitting in for 5 years. From 2008 until 2011. And literally, I start hearing the angels sing. If I have a smile on this thing, I could clean the silverware. I grab a steak knife. I cut a smile in it. I put the dirty spoon in. I squeeze it and pull, and it's clean on both sides. I'd say it. I'm done. I know immediately. I'm going to the office the next day. We're going to create a package. We're going to make a smile face. I'm patenting the smile face, and we're going into the sponge business, and we're going to take the whole thing. Why is Scrub Daddy this size? Because it's my hand.
So that's pretty much what it was. And I do want to kind of clarify things. I would imagine that he had a design patent on there because, I don't know, maybe he had a utility patent as well as a design patent. Hopefully he had both of them. But man, again, you heard him. This thing was originally designed or, came about by him just trying to clean his hand. It seems like he maybe was in a trade, so whatever the case, maybe he had dirty hands, and he kind of created this Scrub Daddy, this sponge to clean his hands. And which is crazy thing, he got a patent, so that was a foresight, that was cool. But this thing, nobody wanted it, so it's set on the shelf for 5 years. And the importance of that is, I don't know why this thing is keeping what's the name? Hold on, man. We're gonna see if it works better now. But he essentially he wasted 5 years the patent because he got it patented. And just because you're not doing anything with it, that doesn't mean that the patent term kind of is on hold or is paused. Again, the patent is only good for 20 years. So to the extent that you're not using it, that time is ticking away. And it seems like he kind of, like I said, had the idea with the smile, and that blew it up. So I think the big thing that I want to kind of glean from that, not only for myself, but for you guys, is sometimes, man, you have to kind of pivot. You have to, okay, this was intentionally created for this use. And sometimes the market is saying, hey, we don't want it for this, but let's do it for this. And it has a lot more of use for it. I think, let me see, man. Let me kind of do some research to see what Scrub Daddy. Because I just was in Myers or different retail stores here in Michigan, and I see Scrub Daddy everywhere. Let's see, 220 million. It's projected to exceed $340 million in revenue in 2024. That was 2024. Clearly, it's 2026. So let me see what he's worth now. Aaron is worth between 70 and $170 million. So that's crazy. Man, shouts out to Aaron. I want to get him on a podcast, man. I'm going to see if you reach out, see if I'm big time enough to get him on a podcast. But, man, I love what he's doing with Scrub Daddy, and I thought that kind of clip was important, not only because he's successful, but the fact that he invented something for one use, that being cleaning his hands, and it didn't work for that. But as far as cleaning utensils, the market like that for that. And I think it's overall a bigger market. How many people are trying to kind of scrub their hands with a sponge? It's like, no, I'm going to get some soap. I'm going to clean my hands and I'm going to wipe them off when I'm done. I guess mechanics or whatever the case may be. But I always going to tell you guys, if you're building something, if you're creating something for women and children or pets, you're going to make a lot of money. If it's a nice invention, women, children, and pets. But if you're making something for men, not a lot of people are going to use it. I'm not saying that you're not going to make money. I'm not going to say that it's not going to be a dope product. It's not going to ultimately be successful, but you're going to have a lot faster and more likely chance of success by creating something for women, children, and pets. Let me know if you guys agree with me, disagree with me on that. But that's kind of my 2 cents with regard to that. As we move on to the next topic that I do want to discuss, what's a new trademark system. Now, for everybody who don't know, patents and copyrights, and I used to say this a lot more back in the day, where patents and copyrights, they have exclusive federal jurisdiction. Article 1, they actually have roots in the Constitution. Article 1, Clause 8, Section 8 is where the patents and copyrights are mentioned. It gives rights to the federal government. Now, trademarks kind of came in terms of giving rights through the federal government through the Commerce Clause of the U.S. Constitution. But the fact that it wasn't explicitly mentioned as copyrights and patents, you have also state bodies that you can file for trademarks in. So again, you may see some people that say, hey, I've got a federal trademark and a state trademark. And I think the lawsuit that we talked about today, I think they filed not only on a federal level, but also the state level. But you don't see a whole lot filed at the state level for a number of reasons. And I'll probably say, I'm not saying to not do it, but just kind of be cautious if you think that the state level is going to be the only thing that you need to get, is because you're just going to stand a chance a lot better from an enforcement standpoint at the federal level. It's one thing to get a trademark. It's another thing to be able to enforce it. And I always tell people, if you're not going to enforce your trademark, if you're not willing to, whether it's a cease and desist letter or ultimately having to sue somebody for trademark infringement, you might as well not even get the trademark. Because a big part of having a trademark is being willing to enforce it if you need to enforce it. And on a state level, whether it's in Michigan, matter of fact, I have a cousin who's an attorney. He tried to he had a state trademark issue, and it was really a shit show because states are not equipped with the know-how to be able to kind of not only examine trademarks, but also to be able to handle a trademark infringement lawsuit. The federal government has been handling this for hundreds of years, and therefore they're just better equipped with being able to examine trademarks to see whether or not it's can be trademarked, but also to the extent that somebody files a complaint for trademark infringement, that they have the judges and the know-how to be able to litigate those matters. Whereas a court body, I'm not sure why this thing keeps starting off like this, but I'm going to continue to talk anyway. As a court body, as a state court body, they probably don't get a lot of these, and they're just not equipped with being able to handle these things. So, it's epic. Here we go. I don't know. They probably did it like this. But they don't have the ability at the state level to be able to handle these things. So let's kind of pull it up. And hear what South Carolina is doing with their new trademark system that they're in the process of coming out with. I'm going to continue to try to figure out what's going on with my camera, which is becoming extremely frustrating for me. I don't. Let me try to take this video while I'm trying to figure this out.
And Secretary of State Mark Hammond is launching a new online registration system for trademarks, service marks, and livestock brands. His office registers trademarks and service marks, offering a quick and easy option to anyone who wants to protect their intellectual property right here in the Palmetto State. It also registers livestock brands and earmarks for farm animal owners. The new online filing system allows customers to upload digitized images of marks and pictures showing the mark being used. Then, once an application is approved, customers can download a copy of their registration certificate instead of waiting to receive one in the mail. You can find a link to learn more about the online services right under the big red box over at live5news.com.
And like I said, man.
Well, a WTOC update now. An 83-year-old woman in Rankin.
But man, I would just always caution you guys on whether or not you guys decide to do this. Again, if you want to do it, great, do it. But don't rely solely on, in my opinion, state trademarks to carry the day. Number one, because I think state trademarks, to the extent that you want to expand your brand, that's not going to cover you at the federal level. But then number two, man, the states just don't have the know-how to be able to enforce these issues or deal with them at the state level. Is going to be a shit show to the extent that you file a trademark infringement lawsuit against somebody else. That's going to be a shit show. But then number two, they don't have the workforce to be able to examine the marks. Man, it takes, and you got to know what you're doing to examine a mark. Is it a likelihood of confusion? Does this is this going against what happened at the federal level? It's a lot to be worked out. And like I said, ultimately, I think you're going to be just better with trademarking your brand at the federal level. And again, don't not do it at the state level, but I wouldn't rely solely of trademarking at the state level to kind of carry the day. That's my perspective. And like I said, I thought it was interesting the fact that this state, South Carolina is launching this online system. So that is my 2 cents on that as we go to the last case of the day, which is the lawsuit breakdown. Cowboy Country Club is suing another, I think, Club Country for trademark infringement. And I thought this was not only interesting, but Cowboy Country Club could have saved themselves a headache if they would have really filed for their trademark a lot sooner, which I'm going to kind of show you guys now. So I'm pulling this up, man. Please hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit that subscribe button to be a part of the IP community. See if I can kind of find this thing. Here it goes. There we go. So we have Cowboy Country Club, which I'm going to call Triple C versus Club Country. And I guess they want injunctive relief, which means they want Club Country to stop using their mark as well as damages. And I'm interested why they didn't file a petition with the USPTO to cancel the trademark. Instead, they decided to go the federal court way. Just kind of let you guys know, if you're trying to cancel somebody's trademark, you can do it two ways. You can go, or you want to sue somebody for trademark infringement or whatever the case may be. You can just file in federal court, which is what Triple C did here, or you can actually just file a petition to cancel the trademark with the USPTO. So those are kind of like the two ways you can kind of try to get your trademark issue dealt with. And I guess you got to kind of make a judgment call on which way do you think is going to be better. In this case, they thought that filing a trademark infringement lawsuit with the court was going to be the better move. So let's see why they thought that was the case, and really if it was a good what's the name. So the parties, Triple C, they both out of Mississippi. I go to Jackson every year, man. I like Jackson. I only stay there for a couple of days, but I go for the homecoming every year, man. It's definitely a vibe out in Jackson. So Triple C is a Mississippi company, just with one member, Ward Thomas. Then the Defendant Country Club is also a Mississippi company. Find information to believe the members of Country Club are the defendant, Duck Hodges, Delvin, a.k.a. Duck Hodges. So we're going to call him Duck. And an adult resident citizen in Tennessee, West Group Holdings. Okay, we're going to skip the jurisdiction and venue. Let's see what they're talking about with the facts. So Triple C is a unique lifestyle brand which combines the rugged cowboy western aesthetic with the refinements of a virtual golf club. So we're dealing with kind of cowboys and golf club, which I guess you kind of get from the name Cowboy Country Club. Utilizing a tagline where rugged meets refined, Triple C markets and promotes his brand through the sales of cowboy western inspired golf merchandise and membership in the country club. So it seems like they got a country club. Triple C's customers are those individuals who enjoy both the country club and the club and easily transition from one to the other. When customers purchase Triple C merchandise, they receive a message, welcome to the club. And as the members of the club, Cowboy Country Club, they receive member-only benefits, including member boxes, which feature a golf flag, so forth and so on. So it seems like January, so 3 years ago, Triple C filed his business registration with the Secretary of State. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Triple C also filed several U.S. and state trademark applications to protect its brand. These include U.S. serial number, country club, so forth for country club, or Cowboy Country Club logo mark that was filed of July of the following year. Seems like they have also a Cowboy Country Club word mark that was filed that same year. And then they seem like they have some other registrations. Triple C asserts common law and registered rights in its various marks. Okay, yep. Triple C is the owner of a registered mark for the word mark Cowboy Country Club, which is registered. Okay, I think I said that before already. This is, I guess, the club. I mean, at least the website, Cowboy Country Club. I can see this being interesting. Let's give some of this stuff. Again, some more Cowboy Country Club, the website. See the logo. You see the word country, Cowboy Country Club. So they got to trademark both on the logo as well as the word mark. And again, look at this. They got 32,000 followers. So that's pretty solid in my opinion. 32,000 followers. So Triple C has grown its brand to a 7-figure business, selling internationally, both online and through retail partners. At present, Triple C has approximately 130 retail partners selling its collection merchandise and expects to onboard additional partners this year. Triple C has approximately 40,000 followers on social media platforms. Triple C spends they got at least 32,000 on IG that we just saw. Triple C spends several $1,000s per month on advertising its products through Google and IG. And they do some stuff on Instagram as well. In a period of approximately 30 days, Triple C sold over $80,000 in merchandise. I guess that's not a lot, but sheesh, that was during the holiday season in 2025. First temporary pro shop at the Highland Village shop. Okay, Jackson, Mississippi. That's exactly where I go to. I got a buddy who I went to middle school with in Michigan. He moved down there and yeah. So it seemed like in 30 days, they sold $80,000 in merchandise. So, I mean, that's a solid operation they got going on. Triple C was just recently featured on the popular podcast for entrepreneurs, How I Built This Lab. Okay, so they going on podcast. So it says Triple C alleges herein that defendants have intentionally misappropriated and are infringing upon this brand in order to unlawfully and unfairly compete against Triple C and the copycat golf apparel. So just kind of keep this thing, because I do want to kind of point this out before we get too deep in this. They registered their business with the Secretary of State of Mississippi in January of 2023. They did not file for trademark applications really until 18 months later or 17 months later, would you say? July of 2024. Again, I do want to bring it back on myself as I make this point. I'm not saying that you need to do it all at the same time, because I get it. You got to pay $40, $50 to file your business, essentially your documents with the state body, which is that's not a lot of money. It's going to be a little bit more involved when you're filing trademarks. You're going to at least spend $700 they filed for the logo and a word mark. That's $700 the USPTO cost. Maybe you ought to run another $1,000 or so with the attorney. So to file 2 trademarks at the federal level, that's $1,700. If you're starting a business, again, every dollar is important. So I understand that you may not have the money to do everything at once, but I will strongly have you guys consider filing your trademarks a lot earlier. They filed their business license in January of 2023, waited 16, 17 months before filing their trademarks with the USPTO. That's a little long in my opinion. I'm not saying you got to do it right at the same time. I'm not sure if it's 6 months or 1 year from you filing your LLC. Heck, you may want to file for the trademark first and then kind of do everything else on the back end, in my opinion. But you want to try to look to get your trademark applications filed as soon as possible. So just keep that date in mind. They filed for the trademark July of 2024. Just keep that date in mind as we kind of go through the rest of this lawsuit. Let's go down here. Okay, so Club Country filed his business registration in August of 2024. So they filed it really after they filed the trademark. The business email for the country club is listed. On September of 2024, Hodges submitted an application with the USPTO to register the mark Club Country, claiming first commercial use in October of 2023. This is the logo, Club Country, as well as the word Club Country. In March of 2025, the USPTO rejected the specimen mirror decorative design. And I do want to kind of put that up. Look, if you're trying to submit a specimen, so a specimen, when you file your trademark application with the USPTO, they want to know that you're using your mark for trademark use. And a specimen means that you're submitting information or submitting a logo or a picture essentially to the USPTO that show, hey, I'm using my mark in an approved way. when you're putting your mark, and I don't have a helmet, I mean, I don't have a hat, but if you're just plastering what you can see that they did, if you're just putting a logo and a word on a front of the hat like that, that's not trademark use. That's ornamental use. Really, if you are submitting a specimen for a clothing brand, and I have this Peace, Love, Intellectual Property, you're just plastering it on the front of the shirt, that's not trademark use. That's ornamental use. If you kind of filing a specimen for a shirt, you need to kind of put it on the upper left-hand corner. That's considered trademark use. You can put it on the back upper portion of the shirt. You can put it on the tag of the shirt. I do want to point that out for those of you who are trying to submit specimens for your clothing brand and you're going to submit a hat. Do not put it on the front of the hat. That's not going to be acceptable to the USPTO. That's going to be considered ornamental use. And we're going to see a little later when they resubmitted the specimen what was considered trademark use. So in March, they submitted, essentially the USPTO rejected their trademark application because that was ornamental use and not trademark use. The application went abandoned July of 2025. So it just went abandoned earlier this year. I mean, middle of last year, I should say. So it seems like on or about June, they registered the website. Okay. So you see this, how they have Club Country that's stitched in the brim of the hat, or whatever this portion, that's considered trademark use. That's acceptable trademark use to the USPTO. So they filed for a petition to revive the application, which they had to do. It seems like they did it pretty quickly, which that's cool. I mean, I've revived the application that was a patent application that had been abandoned for more than 2 years, which is extremely difficult. But in this case, the application went abandoned in July, and then which is oversight, and they seem like they revived it, filed a petition to revive it the next month. This is why it's important to have. Man, look, when you're starting a business, it's a lot of shit that you got to worry about. You got to, especially these days, you got to worry about social media. You got to worry about IP. You got to worry about operations. You're not going to be able to kind of keep track of everything. That's why you want to have a team, maybe a person that's handling the social media. Maybe you're dealing with the operation side of things. You definitely want to have somebody who's helping you out with the intellectual property so you do not forget a date. What this sounds like to me is the owners of Club Country, the date just, they just forgot about the date. And then it's like, oh shit, we forgot about the date. The application went abandoned. Thankfully, only a month had passed. So you're going to be pretty successful if you try to file a petition to revive your application if a month has passed. But if it's like a year or 2 years, it's going to be that much more difficult. But my whole point in saying all this is the fact that, hey, get people on your team who is going to keep track of these dates for you. Because I can tell you, the people who I'm filing patents for and trademarks for, they don't, like, I'm beating down we got to file a response. Hey, we got to file a response. And if they decide to not file a response, it's not going to be because they forgot the date or nobody reminded them. It's going to be because they probably didn't wanted to file a response. So the importance of having a team that's helping you out with the different facets of the business cannot be underscored or cannot be overlooked. And I thought that was something to bring up there, given the fact that in this case, they were successfully at reviving the application. So they had the substitute specimen. It seems like they're saying that this is the whole point of the issue of this case. They're saying that the substitute specimen was first used when you're submitting a trademark. You got to let the USPTO know, when did you first use the trademark in commerce? They're saying that, hey, we first used it in October of 2023. You see their logo on the side of the hat. That'll be good. You can put it on the side of the hat like that. You just can't put it on the front. Hodges represents in the application that the new specimen was first used. We already said that. And they got it registered. The following month, they got registered for the Club Country as well as the logo. But upon information and belief, Hodges filed his applications with the USPTO for the Club Country marks without any actual commercial use established. So this is essentially what Triple C or Cowboy Club Country is trying to say, just to break it down. This is with all the, they're not trying to say, because again, USPTO, they examined Club Country, they examined the logo. They said, hey, based on Cowboy Club, Country Club, and all the other marks that's in that golf category or clothing category out there, this is not a likelihood of confusion. There will be no likelihood of confusion. Therefore, the Club Country and the logo, the USPTO, like, hey, we're going to allow this to be trademarked. What Triple C is trying to say is, hey, this date, they committed fraud on the USPTO. This date that they said that they first used it in October of 2023, they lied. They did not use it that date. And therefore, they committed fraud. And as a result of that, this trademark needs to be canceled for fraud before the USPTO. That's essentially the whole argument of Triple C. They try to throw in this whole trademark infringement claim, but it's no trademark infringement. You're not saying that it was actual, that people are being confused. And the fact that the USPTO said that these marks are not confusing, is even further evidence that it's not trademark infringement. So this whole case, in my opinion, from reading this lawsuit, is Triple C is trying to say, hey, y'all, Club Country committed fraud before the USPTO, and as a result of that, you need to cancel their mark. We're going to take a look at it, but that's essentially what ultimately Triple C is trying to say. So Triple C has been unable to locate any indicia that defendants used the Club Country marks in October 2023. So that's they trying to, hey, they're not using this. They lied to y'all. That's what Triple C is trying to say. Based on Hodges' digital footprint, again, they're trying to say, hey, this dude was selling duck theme hats online back in 2024 and 2025. We can't find anything out there on the internet where this guy was selling Club Country marks and logos in October of 2023. And it's going to, that's the duck theme hat, I should say, which is different from the Club Country mark. I would say that. However, Triple C has been unable to locate any evidence that the hat, okay, yep. So again, Duck Hodges. This is the hunting club. I don't see anything with Club Country, the logo, or the what's name. Based on the timing and evolving content of Hodges' filings with the USPTO, it is obvious that at some point in 2025, he decided to clone Triple C brand and launch a copycat golf apparel business. If that was the case, then why did the USPTO, if this was a clone, USPTO, and again, I'm not, obviously things can happen. We're all humans doing this stuff, but you would have think that the USPTO, the examiner at the USPTO would have picked it up and said, hey, this is a likelihood of confusion. The Cowboy Country Club's logo as well as mark, and therefore we're not going to allow Club Country to register their trademark. But the USPTO did not do that. At this time, the defendants were well aware of the Triple C brand and early commercial success. So Triple C is pretty much saying, hey, they're copying and trying to trade off our goodwill. Although Club Country avoids using the term cowboy in his name, is using or threatening to use confusingly similar marks. Triple C marks, look, and I want you guys to let me know, because this is the whole, people such as me, you are going to be on a jury to kind of make the determination on whether or not this is a trademark infringement. Do you think that Club Country is the same as Cowboy Country Club? Sure, they have country club in there, but damn, every country club have country club. Now, obviously, the defendant flipped it to Club Country, and it seems like the logo is different. But Cowboy Country Club and Club Country, in my opinion, I don't think that this trademark infringement. Let me know what you guys think. Seems like that's what the defendant or the plaintiff Triple C is trying to argue. In light of, I think their bigger argument is the fact that they're saying that they committed fraud on the USPTO, but they're trying to throw this trademark infringement thing and trading off the goodwill in there as well, which I just don't believe, in my opinion. So in a text message to Triple C, Hodges represented that Club Country intends to focus on hunting and other outdoor activities and does not intend to market or sell cowboy Western themed golf merchandise. And it still doesn't seem like they're selling cowboy themed golf merchandise. However, in the marketing materials posted by defendants, they have been promoting Club Country with images of cowboys and Western. Okay, I got to see that. We're not going to be able to pull up the exhibit. But whatever. In addition to copying Triple C's logos, which I just don't think that's the case, marketing concept and design imagery, Club Country intends to sell golf-related products by trading off Triple C join the club concept and by using similar taglines on fairway to field. Okay. And an online article posted in December of last year, Hodges announced that they were launching this new brand with his fiance, Lainey Wilson, attempted to leverage the brand with her popularity as a country music. In this article, Hodges stated that he believes that the country club will fill the space in the golf world for men who play golf and also enjoy outdoor activities like fishing and hunting. That he didn't feel that there was a brand out there that created. But again, he's not saying that they're doing cowboy stuff. Hodges' statements were intentionally deceptive and misleading. Hodges knew full well that Triple C was already an established, successful brand in this space, that his so-called ideal for Club Country brand was nothing more than blatant ripoff. Through continuous and exclusive use in commerce, let's see here, yada, yada, yada. Far among consumers as a result, consumers have come to know and recognize Club Country is permitted to unfairly compete against. Again, man, I'm all about competition. That's what, in America, it's always going to be competition. But is it confusingly similar? I don't think so. I understand what Club Country is trying to, or Triple C is trying to do. They're trying to get out in front of this thing. They don't want competition. They don't want Club Country to come off in this cowboy, Western, golf, that whole area. But I don't think Club Country, the name as well as the logo, is an infringement on Triple C or Cowboy Country Club. So I do think, in my opinion, that Club Country is probably going to come out victorious, but I want to see what you guys have your thoughts on this. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys disagree with me? Do you think it's a confusingly similar brand, even if they're doing kind of cowboy themed stuff? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm not going to go through the claims for relief. Without constitutional country clubs and threatening misuse of the mark are nearly identical. Club country is essentially unlawful trading off. They're not saying it's likelihood of confusion. They're saying, hey, they trading off the name of it. It's a misuse of the marks that are not nearly identical. That's what they're saying. They're not saying it's confusingly similar. Trading off good use, and these marks are substantially identical in appearance, sound, connotation, and commercial impression. I just don't think that's going to be a winning argument as I continue to look through this lawsuit. Have caused and will continue to suffer and will continue to suffer financial harm as well. I just think they don't want competition in this space with the whole cowboy western theme, and therefore they're trying to get out in front of it. But I think the names themselves are trademark infringement. Like I said, Cowboy Country Club and Club Country. No, I think the fact that Club Country is maybe potentially starting to do some stuff, not only in golf, but in this whole cowboy theme merchandise with his fiance. I don't think Cowboy Country Club likes that and trying to get out in front of it. Do I think it's going to be successful? No, but they may come together and say, hey, kind of carve out some niches, if you will. So those are kind of my thoughts on this as I wrap this up. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Hit that subscribe button to be a part of the IP community. And yeah, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. You guys have a good evening. Have a good Sunday. And see you guys next Sunday on entrepreneurship and intellectual property. You guys take care.